You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
All right, we're back for another week, and it's like Samantha and I are taking 1 week on, 1 week off. Today it's me in the studio. Samantha's taking off, and in the studio today with me are my friends Adam and Ryan from the Clinic, Colorado. Welcome, guys.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Hey, it's always good to have you guys on. You guys always have some great products, some new stuff coming down the pipeline. We're going to talk a little bit later about the Clinic Golf Tournament, which has become a huge, successful charity. We have to go over some news real quick, and I always love to get you guys to pipe in on this stuff. One of the biggest things that happened this past weekend, I would say one of the cooler things that's happened in the industry in Colorado is the Colorado Symphony fundraiser. Did you gushe get a chance to attend that?
Neither did I.
Me neither. I was hoping one of you guys could have. But my friend Jane West put this together. She got a little bit of a lot of resistance from the city. Very similar to what we had with our Marijuana Madness event being shut down. Basically, they were going to shut down this charity event for the Colorado Symphony, which obviously looks bad when you try to shut down a charity event.
Yeah.
And she found a nice little kind of quote-unquote loophole, made it invite only. And it was to a great success. So I think kudos to Jane West for making that happen. We got a lot of press on that. Kind of a cool thing to see cannabis have a little bit of class with the symphony.
For sure. I mean, everyone that was in attendance told me. I mean, they loved it. It was a really cool, fun experience.
Yeah.
So
that's the same thing I'd heard as well. We're like, so I heard it was cool.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been there. No, but I had Christiana Lewis, one of our representatives from the Hemp Connoisseur, kind of my right hand. She was there. She said it was a great time. A lot of fun, kind of cool to be able to consume cannabis while listening to the Colorado Symphony. It's kind of like a weird, surreal experience, I would say, for right now. Maybe, it'd be nice when it becomes commonplace for us.
I'd hope to see more events like that. I mean, but we'll see.
We'll see. But, it's kind of a nice sign to people in the world that, hey, our industry is a lot more mature than, they give us credit for. And to make it a symphony event was kind of like a statement. So
absolutely.
Very cool. So, going to kind of rifle through the news because there was some news things, and there's some things I would definitely want to talk with you guys about. New York State Assembly has approved legislation to allow seriously ill patients to possess 2.5 ounces. They are looking at a seed to sale system, but they haven't kind of worked on passing that. So New York State's moving forward. Let's see. Minnesota's moving forward, yeah. Then cannabis there's been proposed to decriminalize cannabis in Dover, Delaware, up to 1 ounce for those 21 and up, and $100 fine right now for public, and that's for public consumption, $100 fine, kind of similar to what Denver did.
Yep.
Back in the day, which is down from up to 6 months in jail and a $1,150 fine for public consumption. Isn't it weird to hear people talk about that's like where it is in other states now?
But it's bad still in other states.
Is.
I mean, they're just not coming around. So.
Yeah, but the Governor Jack Markell is not for legalization, so it's one of those things like, okay, we'll decriminalize it, but yet you can still buy it illegally and deal with black market. So it's kind of funny.
They'll still make their money on their res.
Exactly.
So they're not worried about it.
Yeah, I think so too. In the final state, I just want to talk about, because we talked a little bit about this before the show, Ryan, and is a North Carolina House is approving a CBD concentrate that would have less than 0.3% THC, which basically means that they're approving hemp concentrates, which, by the way, they actually don't have to approve. It's legal to have a hemp concentrate for 0.3%. So it's kind of funny that they're like, we're going to pass this, and it's basically for seizure medication. And we talked about this, and I've talked about this many times in the show. To me, this is a bullshit law. To start saying, okay, we're going to allow CBD, but no THC, and it shows me that there's like an inherent misunderstanding of what cannabis is and what it can do as a medicine. I mean, do you guys agree with me on this?
Well, I mean, you're dealing with whole plant extracts and the same issues that we've dealt with for all of this time, from Marinol to where we are today. So it's, it's something that we're going to continue to deal with, but I think those that are involved in the industry are well aware of the benefits of whole plant extracts. I'm sure a lot of these companies that are selling the 100% hemp CBD.
Oh, they're happy about it. Yeah.
I'm sure they're happy right now because they have most of the general population sort of confused about the product that they've put out, and so it's I think it's important for us to continue to push on what we believe in, and making sure that we don't limit it to CBD only product.
How do you feel about hemp oil as a medicine without the THC? I mean, do you have any experience with it personally?
I have. Hemp Meds was at one of the conventions not too long ago, and I bought one of the. I want to say it was 19.2% CBD. No, they had a 25% one. They had a 19 and a 25. I bought the 25 on wholesale for, I wanted to say it was $150 a syringe, and that was 3 grams.
Wow.
And one of the first nights that I have 5 herniated discs, and so sometimes it makes it quite challenging at night. And I got up, went to use the syringe, and when I push it, I thought I was trying to dose myself with about a half gram to a gram. Ended up getting about 2.5 grams on the initial push. Right. But the effect that I feel from CBD product that we have from whole plant extract versus what the effect was there was not even on the same planet.
No.
I mean, so with 2.5 grams, I mean, I think you start asking, what are you really asking these patients to do?
Right. It's a question of, is this a snake oil salesman kind of thing,
right,
or is there real benefit to it? I mean, I think there is benefit, obviously, to hemp as a nutritional product, and there is some medicine base in there, but without the THC kind of blending in, even if it's a CBD strong product and there's not as much THC, there's still that synergistic effect.
Without a doubt.
I mean, even Sanjay Gupta has talked about that already. I mean, he said, they called it the entourage effect. And it's interesting how there's all of these states now, like Florida, North Carolina, Utah. I know I'm missing a couple other states that are looking at CBD only legislation. And it's like they're like capturing headlines, these state legislators, and thinking that they already know everything they need to know about it. And it's amazing that they don't go to people like you or me or anybody in this industry here in Colorado and be like, well, what's the validity to this? Let's talk to some doctors. Talk to Dr. Bob Melamed or Dr. Alan Shackelford or Paul Bregman, and just to be like, hey, what, is there a benefit to only CBD? But they don't ask that.
Talk to Dr. Mashula, in Israel. I mean, talk to Dr. Ruth. These people have been working. I was just going to talk about that. I'm glad you brought it up because you did. You just got back from Israel. Yeah, I just got back from Israel, and I think it's always been important for the clinic to be on the cutting edge. I mean, we want to make sure that when we have the ability to push certain things forward, we're going to do so. And with the with the amazing medical research that Israel has and has had for many years, it was a great trip to go meet some of these people, and
right.
I was in awe. I mean, Dr. Ruth had us come over to her house. She's mid 80s. Been doing research for quite some time in the lab on mice and petri dishes.
This isn't the same Dr. Ruth.
No.
Well, I think she's passed on since then.
Yeah.
I just dated myself, by the way, by knowing what you mean by Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth.
Yeah.
She's just an amazing lady. I mean, we walked into her house, and her granddaughter was on the couch, and she says, honey, can you run in the back room, because I'm going to talk to these gentlemen about CBD. And it was just. She sat down and says, do you want to review kind of some small talk, or do you want to jump right into business? That's like, we're at your house,
Right.
And she just got into it and told us how. I mean, she's had really somewhere around 80% success rate in mice and in petri dishes for years with CBD compounds. She said she's had the most success with an 18-to-1 ratio.
Wow.
But she told us that she was able to. These success rates are in diabetes type 1, in high blood pressure, hypertension. It was amazing. I mean, she even was talking about some pain tests that they were doing on the mice after providing CBD. It was just it's huge to see where this is going.
Well, for those of you who don't know this, I mean, Israel's about 50 years ahead of the rest of the world in studying cannabis. But one of my questions is how much implementation of using cannabis as a medicine is going on in Israel right now?
I had an opportunity, and it was a really amazing experience to go to one of the kibbutz, which is really a self-sustained farming sort of community. And on the kibbutz, there was a nursing home where I went and met Nurse Imbol, who has been working with this nursing home for a little while. They're receiving cannabis and in all different forms and providing it to the patients of the nursing home. Okay. So they have 14 patients that they're providing a vaporization administration of the cannabis a couple of times throughout the day. They have quite a few other patients where they actually we got to go through and do the rounds with them, and they have a lady who she's feeding on a feeding tube out of her stomach. They showed us how they open up the feeding tube. They put 5 drops of oil in the feeding tube and close it back up. I guess I've had an unfortunate experience that I've had. Several family members over my lifetime ended up in nursing homes, and I did a lot of volunteering and was there quite a bit. And one thing that I can tell you that I had commented to Nurse Imbol when we would walk through, I said, I've been in a lot of nursing homes, and I was like, this is the quietest nursing home I have ever been in. And she said, she started laughing. She said, literally, I'm glad you say that, because from the time that we've started to administer cannabis here, the patients are more relaxed. She's like, big benefits that they've seen is in spasming, that so many individuals that are in a wheelchair so long or in a bed that, their arms and legs get very constricted, that after vaporization, these individuals are loosened up and moving their arms and, able to relieve some of that pain because of the muscle contraction. So,
which kind of shows consistency amongst patients who have cerebral palsy or MS, or that it is helping for those kind of symptoms.
Absolutely, and that's what was. It was just I can tell you I took a picture of their medicine cart when the lady was going out, and I said, you got to stop, you got to let me take a picture of this, and in the cart, there would all the patients' names are on there and what their medications are that they're taking, and there would be they're still using pharmaceutical medication as they need, but then next to it would be a couple of hash caps. Next to that was a little thing of oil. They had their tinctures on there. They had pills that the nurses are activating. It's just an amazing experience to see how they've been able to adopt some of these concepts.
Right. Now, it's strictly medical, though, in Israel, correct?
Strictly medical.
Who is cultivating and then refining the cannabis in Israel? Is it the government?
No, there's 7 private companies that are doing that out there, but really it's the ministry, and that's the Ministry of Health. There is really in control of the whole thing. It's a different experience though than what our patients experience here, in the sense that when they go to the doctor and they have a prescription for medical cannabis, that information is sent to the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Health makes the decision on not only how much cannabis, but even potentially in certain situations, what kind.
Interesting.
So some of these.
So it's not the doctor?
No, it's not the doctor. These. The Ministry of Health is really like. The doctor is obviously very involved in this, but the Ministry of Health. The doctor may say, I would suggest that they have X amount. The Ministry of Health has the ability to adjust that amount. The doctors, though, because of I think just getting into this, have been doing somewhere between 20 and 45 grams a month for a patient. Wow. So, in all reality, dependent upon how terminal that condition might be, I think all of us know how much we use cannabis on a daily basis.
Right.
If we were talking 20 grams over the course of a month, and I have MS, or I have, that's the part where I'd like to see them, push that a little bit more,
But they are talking about grams of concentrate, correct?
No,
No.
we're talking about
actual
flower. Concentrate is illegal.
So
out
they're
there.
being really conservative with their dosing then.
They're being very conservative with their dosing, and I think even a lot of the medical professionals that I had an opportunity to meet, they're also very conservative with their dosing. It was exciting. I went to the Tel Aviv Children's Hospital and met with a head of neurology there, and she's it's cool. She's doing the first study with like 50 children, all with and unfortunately, we're all familiar with Charlotte's story.
Yes.
But Charlotte, has a very rare form of epilepsy,
Dravet's,
and which is unfortunate on the medical side, that when they're going to look at research studies, they're going to look at research studies on the more common conditions. And so they, although won't be looking at Dravet's, they will be looking at several other conditions, and be using different levels of CBD to administer to these children. And really the study's going to start in about 3 months. Wow. So it's unbelievable to see, how far forward they are, and
right.
Really what they're involved with. So
well, we have to go on a quick break. I want to talk a little bit more about your trip to Israel, because I'm very jealous of the experience you got to have. And so, quick word from our sponsor, wonderful sponsors, Incredibles. New from Incredibles, gummies. Their new gummies come 2 to a pack. Each 2-pack contains 100 milligrams of the finest medicine around. What's more, each 50 milligram infused gummy disc is fortified with 100 milligrams of vitamin C for an extra healthful kick. It's available in black cherry, green apple, orange strawberry, blue raspberry, and strawberry banana. Gummies, new from Incredibles, same great flavors, brand new shape, and now fortified with vitamin C. Gummies, ask for them by name at your favorite Colorado dispensary. So do you guys carry Incredibles out of curiosity?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. I love that, the peanut butter.
The peanut butter Buddha is awesome.
Man,
awesome. And what we did, we had the Bongathon guys on last week while I wasn't here, but we enjoyed copious amounts of Boulder bars as s'mores.
Oh, okay.
Which was the best s'mores ever, definitely.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. I mean, the thing is, at Bongathon, it was like you were at the point when you had so much cannabis, you weren't getting any higher.
Yeah, it didn't even matter.
So it really was just a good s'more treat, and you didn't even notice that you were getting any higher from it, even though you were. But there's only just so much cannabis you can take in
for sure.
before it just kind of flattens out and you plateau. But,
prove it.
Yeah, I know. Well, for some of us. I guess some people are saying just decide to jump out of a window, but,
Oh, God.
I know. So back to Israel real quick.
Sure.
So was this like a trip that the clinic kind of prepared, or was this kind of more of your own personal journey?
A couple of us, from the clinic, like I said, we're always interested in understanding that. Excuse me. And it wasn't. They have an incredible hydroponics program out there. They're, a lot of their agricultural systems are just really unmatched. And
well, they're in a desert. They better be good. Right?
But we went out there to go see all of it. Right. And so I had an opportunity to go to a couple of produce farms, and just to see what they're doing that's different than what we're doing here. And yes, in a desert, but they literally have every produce item that you could imagine, fresh every day. The food's amazing.
And is that what most of their produce is from hydroponic farms?
No, not all of it, but but a lot of it. I'm just saying the different agricultural systems that they're using are pretty impressive. Right. So it was fun. We went and met a lot of different farmers, and on top of getting to do all the fun things that you get to do and see out there as well. So.
Now, when it comes to cultivation of cannabis, are they usually mostly hydroponic right now?
Yeah, a lot of those are hydroponic. They do have some, a lot of, I guess, greenhouse space. Ultimately, the ministry really has a lock on that. Okay. This is not quite
free market.
Not quite the tour situations that
right.
We get here in the States.
So you weren't able to get a tour of the cultivation facilities?
No, we were able to. Like I said, we went and kind of looked at a lot of other things and really understood what their pain management programs were. But primarily, like I said, it was about the medical research and seeing what these doctors are doing. I mean, that's just something for me that is like, again, I mean, it's amazing, and it's unfortunate that we are not pushing forward the way that they have been for quite so long.
Well, and our mutual friend Dr. Alan Shackelford makes frequent trips out to Israel, and he's on his way out there, I think, in the next week if he hasn't already been out there. But we are asking him to do some writing about his trip to Israel in future issues of the magazine, because he's just like, I mean, he gets a lot of access, obviously, as a doctor, and they're like,
everywhere I ever went,
right?
Everyone knows Alan Shackelford.
That's awesome. It's pretty cool.
No, it's really cool.
And so I'm excited to kind of hear what his feedback is coming from a doctor's standpoint. I'm assuming he might get a little bit more access than you guys
may very well.
Yeah, especially since he goes so often.
Absolutely.
So I also know that they have been pretty aggressive on utilizing cannabis for treatment of PTSD, which is awesome to hear, seeing that Colorado just knocked down that law to allow PTSD as one of the list of ailments to get your medical license for marijuana, which still is amazing to me. That we're, as progressive as this state is, there's still a lot of things that we're like way behind on too.
Yeah, that one still has me scratching my head all the time.
Amazing.
I mean, whereas you also have to understand too. I mean, from now, this was my first trip out to Israel, and really understanding what that country, what their issues are with their borders and everything.
Sure.
And, but because they do all
pretty active.
Well, I mean, they're all in the
least.
military. I mean, they all understand exactly what's going on, and
it's part of citizenship, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
And so, and I think because of that, the doctors are also very understanding. I mean, the ones that I spoke to said there is literally not a soldier that comes back that walks through those gates that doesn't have PTSD.
How could you not?
And so their suggestion is administer early and fast, and it's a great opportunity for them to be able to recover quicker. So
now, did they talk much about utilizing cannabis as a cancer treatment, not just for the symptoms of treatment of cancer, but actually using it to treat cancer?
I mean, they spoke a little bit about it, but not the doctors that I had an opportunity to speak to. So, I mean, I did speak to a doctor who was the head of oncology, and he was talking a lot about it, but he definitely, was saying that this is something where, he felt you can do all of this research and you can try to do these studies, but he said, at the end of the day, and he said he knew that it was weird for him to say this as a doctor, but he said, I think some point you have to start believing. And you have to see that you've seen a patient, you've spoken to the patient, and they're telling you that they are better. You have to believe it, even if you can't document that on paper, and you can't get a report that prints out to show it to you. And he said, and that's kind of where he was at. He said, at the position that I'm at, and in fact, where I met him was at a mall across the street from the hospital that he works at, because although Israel is very advanced and pushing very hard, he said, my hospital doesn't allow me to talk about this kind of stuff. So I have to walk off the premises. And he said, I'll come and meet you at the mall and talk to you a little bit over there. So
that's amazing.
It's although how advanced they are and how forward thinking they are, there's still a lot of doctors out there who are naysayers.
Now, why do you think that they're so cautious? Do you think it has something to do with their relationship with the United States when they talk about treaties where we're not supposed to allow cannabis and all of that? Do you think that's an issue because they're such strong allies of the U.S. that they kind of hold back?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't get that impression from the individuals that we spoke to, but I was also not talking to, political individuals.
Right,
I mean, these were.
I always think politics.
These are doctors who, I mean, they're believing in a medicine, and that's kind of where it ends,
Right. Did they have questions for you? I mean, being a representative of one of the best companies in the country when it comes to legalized cannabis. I mean, did they have they have a lot of inquiries for you?
What was interesting is that, in setting up a lot of these meetings, I mean, just who knows? Call one of these hospitals and say, I understand that there's someone. Would you mind patching me through their office? Can I maybe speak to them? I mean, it was a challenge being able to get access to the individuals that I did. But by the time I sat down with them, they are so interested in pushing this movement forward and talking about what Israel has done that most of them sat down, went through everything with me, and at the end said, so what is it that you guys do? So, it was, but I mean, they're very proud. They're very excited. Sure. And they believe that a lot of these, that their strains specifically are more medically beneficial than some of the ones that we have.
Did you get to take a look at the strains? You get to try anything?
I did.
I had to ask that.
I did. I might have been able to see a few things. So,
right.
I mean, and I think, again, it's different. It's a totally different concept here in Colorado and probably in, nationally here. We're a visual marketing, I mean, it's important that the product not only looks, but smells, is packaged correctly. I mean, when you're being told by your doctor and the ministry not only what you can have, how much you can have, but the exact strain, there's not a lot of. Like one of their very big, these big strains or whatever are that might be 70% of what. Some of these patients
right, so they're mass producing the same strains. Now, do these strains have like coded names, or are they actually using like traditional strains like that we would know of?
No, I mean, I believe that. I mean, the unfortunate part for me is I don't read Hebrew.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's very, very difficult to try to understand what some of those names are. But no, they're names that they created on their own that their breeders are doing. I mean, but there also are traditional strains over there as well. I mean. Sure. I saw White Widow and okay. I mean AK-47 and
they called it AK-47.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But then there were other ones that I think were the ones that some of these doctors were prescribing.
Right.
That were like I said, I saw it in Hebrew letters, and so unfortunately I was unable to translate. But
gotcha. I mean, I think it's amazing. I'm very jealous of your trip. It's something that we've talked about doing, is eventually making a trip out to Israel to do like some serious interviewing, and we're just gonna have to leave it up to people like yourself who go out there and kind of give us the information for right now. But I think it's awesome that you guys did that.
No, it's really cool, and I'm really excited about what what the options and opportunities are going to be for us moving forward with similar programs here in the States.
Yeah.
So it's something that. Like I said, I've already reached out to a few medical institutions locally and
really?
In Colorado, and I'm going to see what we can get going.
How's been the reception on the medical side?
It's pretty responsive.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, they're getting so many questions that they want to learn. Is my understanding.
And I think, but the deal is that we're starting with medical professionals, and one thing that's maybe a little bit different here that I'm noticing the wheels were a little bit greased over there, is that the medical professionals aren't necessarily the ones running all of these institutions, and
right.
so the administration is another hurdle that we're going to need to get through. But I think by the opportunity of maybe having some of those doctors from Israel and from all over the world in areas where they do allow these things to speak out and talk about it and help our doctors here, that kind of collaboration is invaluable.
Are they sharing a lot of their information with other countries, or are other countries coming to them and trying to get some of their source? Did you guys talk about that?
I definitely got the impression, especially like I said, talking about Dr. Shackelford being there, and I got the impression that I'm not the first person to have walked into some of their offices.
Sure, of course.
So I think that's where. We'll definitely we're going to see things happen. I will also say though that several of those doctors that I had an opportunity to sit down with are all working on the GW Pharmaceuticals project. So,
do you want to talk a little bit about that project?
I mean, I think it's pretty cool because each of these doctors are looking at some different things. But the fact that And this is kind of the way that I'm looking at it in all reality, is that through isolation, through both cannabinoids and terpenes, these doctors are literally going to be able to be. I mean, it's going to be science. Right. I mean, at that point, they're going to be able to do anything.
Sure.
And so the fact that, and I know that, I mean, in all reality, I think GW Pharmaceuticals probably, most people in our industry hear the name and a lot of people cringe or, we'll say something. And
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to see, a company that had a cannabis base, that is moving forward on whole plant extract,
right?
But they've maybe pushed the boundary a little bit into the pharmaceutical industry, and
Right.
now people who are closer to our side, are thinking,
Well,
having a negative feeling about the situation.
I get it. I think there's it's interesting because like I'll say like one of my extended family or my girlfriend's extended family. Has a lot of back pain, and it's like, well, you're in Colorado, it's legal. Why don't you try some medicine? I actually gave him Incredibles, and he was like, oh yeah, it worked really well. He's like, but can't I just get it in a pill? And I was like, well, yeah, you can get it in a pill, but doesn't it taste good? He's like, no, it tasted really good. I'm like, well, what's the problem? He's like, well, I don't feel like chocolate is medicine. I'm like, but it works as medicine, right? And he's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, what's the difference? But it does speak to like this old school thought process that we have in the United States, where it's like medicine needs to come in a form of a pill, and in order for it to be medicine, and it's like
we say all the time, we are unfortunately, I mean, the states are a pill culture,
Yep.
and that's one reason why in fact. We have CBD pills that we've ultimately we don't have a kitchen, so unfortunately I have to
Right.
process them somewhere else. But we do have these pills that'll be on the shelves, and we've got CBD pills that are 1-to-1, 2-to-1,
Right.
1-to-2s that are all 50 milligrams. Tested, and it's these are the things that people want to try
and
would like to use, and maybe they don't have to have a whole candy bar, but we sell those too.
Exactly.
So.
Well, look, and I mean that's the thing is I like a good edible. I like my flower. I like the taste of it. But yes, if I'm traveling, if I was going overseas, yeah, that's what I would want is capsules or something that is easy to travel with. But I do think it's interesting for people such as you and myself in this industry where we love the variety, we love all the flavors. I mean, you think like it's connoisseur style.
Yeah.
You're looking at it like wine as opposed to just like this machine-made cannabis treatment. And it is a little scary for people like us. I think when we see that, we're like, well, is that going to take away from what we're doing? I don't necessarily know if it will. I mean, I know what you're saying. Is it a good thing that science is getting behind this and pharmaceuticals companies are doing it? It is. I agree. It's a little bit of a double-edged sword.
It is. I mean, it's a double-edged sword in the sense that I mean, we've yelled from the mountaintops. We are all confident that this plant, when put through medical research studies, is going to prove exactly what we've all said it was. But now we've asked for it. So,
well, that's the thing. Is like all these advocates out there. It's like be careful what you or activists. And it's like be careful what you wish for. You're getting it, and now you're complaining about it. What did you think was going to happen?
For sure.
I mean, I think that's part of the thing that we need to look at. We have to go on a quick break.
Yep.
When we get back, I want to talk about what the clinic's got brewing up. You guys got a couple of awards you brought in that I have to talk to you about those. So we'll be back after this quick break.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com. The Law Office of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Mayton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Extraction Tech Solutions. Not only is it safe, but it offers one of the only ETL certified essential oil extraction systems on the market. Our equipment meets or exceeds all of the North American safety standards. Customer relationships are important to us, so after the sale, it doesn't stop for us. We are reliable and therefore when our customer needs us. We offer pre- and post-sales training, method development, services, and repairs. Extraction Tech, safe and reliable because it matters. Contact us at www.extractiontech.com or 720-515-9254.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
All right, we're back. Sitting here in the studio with Ryan and Adam from the clinic. Adam's just been hanging, but I know he's going to be coming up.
I didn't get to go to Israel. So.
I know, he's just sitting there listening in, but I know you're going to be piping in. Guys wearing your Kosher Kush shirts today.
Yeah, that was random.
That was random, right? Okay.
It happens. It happens.
But one of my favorite strains you guys do. It is. And
although we have a big line of clothing, everyone's got their favorites.
That's true, they do. But you won awards. You won awards for Kosher Kush at the Hemp Connoisseur Championship, and you have brought some of your awards from the High Times Cup. I gave these guys shit at the beginning of the show before the show started because I'm like, so wait a minute, you brought in High Times trophies, but you didn't bring in ours, and I'm going to make the argument for you that ours is just too nice. You didn't want to risk breaking it.
Well, that one is true, and two, you didn't invite me in after the cup was over.
I didn't?
No.
Oh.
So
What's wrong with me?
No, I mean, hey, these are the most recent ones.
They are. I just said, hey, if you go interview with High Times, just bring our trophy.
Yeah,
there,
absolutely.
We'll feel better about it.
They don't have a radio show, so
no, that's true.
They don't.
They don't. We're multimedia. So, what did you guys win at High Times Cup this year?
So it was exciting. We in the medical cup, we took home third place with our cherry pie in the sativa category. So for us, it was we've had a lot of success in the sativa category in the last couple of years, so it was cool to also have something new. I mean, cherry pie is a new strain for us.
I haven't tried the cherry pie, so I'm looking forward to it.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Look at you smiling. You're
Well,
like, yeah,
I mean,
really
and it
good.
just looked awesome. I mean, it was a beautiful strain, tasted really nice, and so it's gonna add some great flavor to our concentrates as well. So.
And I've gotten comments from people when they talk to me about the championships, all of them, the High Times, Hemp Connoisseur, and they're like, yeah, well, when these guys do it, they just grow specifically for the championship, and there are some dispensaries that do that, and they focus really on this small batch and really do that. You guys are not one of those kind of companies. So.
No, I mean, 100%. The product that we enter into the cup is taken directly from what we're growing. I mean, at the point in time when we're going to do our selection process, I do ask all the growers go through. Find a batch that you thought looked good. I mean, we can't mix batches. There's none of that. So It's find a batch that you thought looked really, really awesome. Whatever you thought your favorite was out of what's sitting right there, and we put it into our own little internal cup and make some decisions and then do our entries.
Cool. Now, what was the other award you guys have here?
So this was a real exciting one for us. So I mean, it was the U.S. concentrate. So so we took home first place for our 303 OG live resin, and so the live resin, which
what is that term? I've never actually heard that term before.
So live resin is it's there's some proprietary processes in here, of course, but in all reality, it's it's kind of a fresh frozen situation with a live plant. So so we're processing a live plant pretty quickly after we harvest it. So
interesting. Is this like a whole new thing? I've never heard.
Yeah,
this
in
before.
fact, actually, I definitely got to give a shout out to Giddy Up, because Giddy Up was definitely we ran this together, and it was cool for him to kind of do a little collab with us. So it's nice. Of course, we've been running the Emotech for a while, and so to have the creator in there with you was a good thing.
Now, to do this live resin, does it help the terpene profile, the THC content, or a little bit all of the above?
I think a little bit of all of the above. I mean, really, it's a better smelling, better tasting product. I mean, realistically, the live resin, the way that plant smells right when you harvest it is exactly what that live resin is going to taste like.
Wow.
So it's I think that it was staggering, for some people. Plus, it's a little bit of a different look to it. It almost has a little bit of a gritty look to it.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest with you, almost like a little bit of like an auto butter. If a shatter auto butters on you, that's kind of what the live resin realistically looks like.
Gotcha.
So, but it's we've got it on the shelves, and people have been loving it. So,
Another reason for me to go visit the clinic.
Yeah,
again,
there you
so.
go.
Lately, I just stop in and drop off magazines.
You might have figured something out for some of you guys. We might have a little live resin.
All right, then. What do we got here?
So this is actually some kosher
excellent.
live resin. So but it's a little taster for you. So you can
I might have to just open up and smell this right now.
But yeah, that's what's cool. You gotta, smell this one.
Oh, is that it right there? Okay.
That's the tangy.
Oh yeah, you can smell that.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
the tangy's almost unfair. So.
It really kind of is. It really is. It's like, wow.
But it was cool. It was a lot of fun at the Cup this year. It was a little different. I don't. What'd you think of the Cup this year?
I did not attend the Cup this year.
You didn't
I
go?
sent because you know what? I had a 3-week-old.
Okay. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Actually, she was less than 3 weeks at the time of the Cup. She was like 2.5. But yeah, I didn't really feel like leaving her, honestly. I mean, it was one of those things, like especially in the first month. I definitely got why you want a paternity leave. It's like I did not want to leave my house because like every day was like a little bit different, and it is still with that. I mean, she's only over 7 weeks now, so I don't get to enjoy being in the cannabis industry as much right now. Like I'm gonna miss I'm gonna miss the clinic golf tournament this year, which I was, and I taught you last year. I was like, no, I'm golfing this year. I was, we covered it and had fun. I was like, I'm gonna have somebody else cover so I can have fun. And yeah, that's not happening because we got to take the baby on the world tour, the country tour around to all the grandparents and family, and that's what we're doing that weekend. So yeah, I'm going to be missing out a little bit of the fun stuff this summer, but hey, you know what? It's all worth it for me. But
it was still. It was still a fun Cup. I mean, it was. It was cool, obviously, to have it that big, but it also. Really, I think as big as it was, it could be double that size.
You think so?
I mean, that's what's crazy about that. I mean, it was so packed. It was. But I think we always have a hard time at some of these Cups because the clinic does not do the dab bar, and we don't. I
actually think that's a smart thing, and I know there's some company friends out there, and other companies and clients that do the dab bar, and hey, do it. You take, but I think it's a risk. I think it's a big risk that you're kind of putting yourself out there, and it's not. It's kind of like one of those gray areas where it's like, is it legal? I don't know. Yeah. And it's kind of one of those. It's like, yeah, there's a good look the other way. I mean, I was bitching a little bit about the High Times Cup because they were allowed to do the High Times Cup with what did they say, 27,000 people or something like that? I think it was around that.
40 maybe.
It was around 40. And, we were like shut down for having an event that was going to have 300 people. Yep. And I was kind of, I was a little butthurt about that. I'm like, come on, dude, really? So the city of Denver's fine with somebody coming from out of state doing it, but you're not letting somebody here. But at the same point, it's like, it is great for the industry. It's great to have like a huge event like that where everybody can congregate. I do think it's a good idea to not put yourself out on a limb and put your business on a limb.
I think all of us that have been, in this dispensary business, especially since, years and years now, we've constantly had to police ourselves, and we've had to, take a level of maturity to be able to move this, not only, the industry in Colorado, but the industry nationally forward. And, I'm sorry, but I think this is another an opportunity to do something right, right. And so, to each his own. Everybody does their own thing, and I don't knock anyone for doing it, but it would be nice to see us take a more responsible approach as we continue to move forward. I mean, and especially when it's just.
No. I get it. I commend you guys. I think that you guys are setting a standard for how a company should operate within this industry and the legal limits. I mean, to me, if we are trying to compare, and I know really there's no ultimate comparison between cannabis and alcohol, except for that one's way safer and one's really dangerous. But at the same point, it's like it's kind of the equivalent of just having an open bar at a festival. when you do these dab bars. It's like, if I'm serving beer at the Great American Beer Fest, no, open beer, come up and buy, and it's just free. It's like, it doesn't work that way. So, the biggest thing I'm always concerned with, and it was an experience I had last year at the High Times Cup, is all these out-of-state people coming in and thinking that they can dab when they've never done it before. I know you've seen it. I've seen it too. It's just somebody kind of dabs out on it, and they take a rip like it's a bong. After you've already warned them 5 times, don't do this, and like, yeah, man,
I smoke so
much weed. I mean, I can do this. And meanwhile, everybody who's like, we're all professionals, like, no, really, dude, and. Fine. They have to learn it the hard way, but it's something when you see a lot of people learning it the hard way.
Well, yeah, and it's it's just things that we don't want. I mean, there's no need to cause any problems here.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like we kind of guard this the legalization of it really closely.
Well,
I think
it's no different than the extraction explosions that we've seen, and people need to get smart about this. These kinds of things need to be done in certified, regulated facilities.
I have people on a fairly regular basis call me up and be like, man, I know you do the championship and you guys are talking about doing a home thing. We want you to do a home hash makers. And I was like, if we do, it's only going to be solventless or, bubble hash. And they're like, but I do BHO. And I'm like, I wouldn't touch your BHO with a 10-foot pole, dude. You're making that at home. Yeah. So you're open blasting in your home, or are you doing it, outside, or where are you doing it, And it's like, and these guys are like, I hear them saying pissed. I had one guy call me up the other day saying, you need to do a story about the fact that there's people in the industry that are trying to keep us from making our own hash. I'm like, no, they're trying to keep you from using, vector cans to make your own hash at home. There's a difference. Yeah. It's not, they're not saying you can't
I would
make
have
your
no
own.
problem. I mean, I would support it if there was, if legislation supported it.
Yeah.
And if there was equipment that individuals were able to use safely in their house. But
exactly.
That equipment doesn't exist yet.
It doesn't exist.
So.
Well, it exists, but it's super expensive, and it's on an industrial level, like what you guys would use.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, in a format like that someone's going to use in their residence is quite a bit different than maybe some of this industrial equipment that we're all using, and we're being put through the ringer. Everyone is, which is great. I mean, we asked for tougher regulation because we think the safety is extremely important.
Well, it is. It's a safety issue, and every time a house blows up or whatever because of this, it almost looks like it's a reflection on the industry when we have nothing to do with it. And it's like, come on, man, it's not us. So it's nice to see.
But easier said than,
Yeah, much easier said than done, and that is one of the issues with our industry is we tend to be tried in the social media and public forum, and media obviously latches on to stories that aren't necessarily true. So
golf tournament.
That was exactly what I want to talk about now. So you guys have, first of all, I think the best charity fundraising event in the industry so far. It's now this is the 4th year?
This is fifth year.
Fifth year. No, it is. It's the 5th year. You're right. So this is the 5th year you guys have done this. In the last 4 years, how much have you guys raised now? And this is for MS. I should preface.
Yeah, I mean we've raised over $100,000 for the MS Society. Amazing. and up to this point, and I'm excited to say that I think this year we're going to dwarf what we've done in the previous 4 years combined. So the company already, we do our first event at the year is the MS Walk, which we did on the 3rd, and it was an awesome event. We raised somewhere around $15,000.
Great.
So far. So and then we'll keep that moving here as we move into our golf tournament, which I can say 5th year. It's humbling that this has become such a success.
Well, and it's sold out.
It's sold out. It sold out pretty quickly, and this year we actually had to move it to 2 shotguns. So we're doing a morning and an afternoon.
Great.
Taking the course for the entire day. So we ultimately doubled the number of golfers that we had last year.
Wow.
We're going to have about 250-something golfers and 256 golfers on the golf course. And then, with the number of volunteers and individuals that we're going to welcome to come out to the barbecue, because there will literally be a barbecue from probably about 12 to about 3 o'clock.
Right, it's going to be a long barbecue.
Because we're going to be feeding a lot of people.
Sure.
And letting one group come in and the other group go out. So, but it's just, again, a huge event. I have to for sure, of course, all of our sponsors have been a big part of this. So, and Weed Maps every year.
Those guys have been great to it,
I
yeah.
mean, they're very, very generous in the way that they look at this tournament and the fundraising efforts. And so they've taken a huge sponsorship this year for us, and to be able to do both the morning and afternoon, and really take good care of people. But I can talk about tickets and everything, but again, I guess all I would say is next year you need to get on this, guys. But
when do you guys usually make it available?
The tickets go on sale on 4/20. So
see, that's an easy one for people to remember.
Yep, exactly. We did it at noon on 4/20, and it was really about 2.5 weeks, and the entire tournament sold out. So including all sponsorships for both the morning and afternoon. So this year, I mean, I'll be so bold as to say that I think we can raise $100,000 that day.
That's awesome.
And do it with great support from the MS Society as well. So
cool. And how is it? I'm assuming getting money from you guys is always a good step from the MS Society. But how have they been feeling about a cannabis business coming in and like kind of stepping up?
I'll tell you, which is what's really cool is that I think other individuals know that if you try to do fundraising efforts and you're in the business, that's a challenge. There's not a lot of national fundraising institutions that will take money from us, but the MS Society was willing to really work with us, and not only were they willing to work with us, I mean, although they had to do it somewhat quietly, I mean, over the years, they came up to us at the golf tournament and said, we were really excited to tell you that the MS Society is now changing their national platform on cannabis research.
Wow.
And that they are now going to, similarly to how when
the National Epilepsy Foundation did the same.
Pharmaceutical companies are allowed to go in and speak to MS patients, that are in their organization here in Colorado, and we have never been allowed to get in front of those individuals to talk about the benefits of cannabis because it's not recognized by the institution. So, I mean, I'm not saying that we pushed that. I think it's the industry,
right.
But I'm saying that it's so exciting to have seen their change in posture from 5 years ago till now.
Sure.
Really unbelievable. So
that's awesome.
So I'm excited to be able to see what we can continue to do with them, but. I at least you have to let me say a couple of these sponsors here really
Please
quick.
Do.
So Trade Show Emporium, Sweetgrass, Chiba Chews, Markaha, Patient's Choice, as I said, Weed Maps, Cannabis, T. Meyer and Stitch, Way to Grow, Pure Intentions, BDDY Packaging, Batch 64, Elevated Pens, Patient's Choice, Incredibles, Advanced Nutrients, River Rock, Indie Inc., MMC Depot, Mountain High Suckers, the Hemp Connoisseur, of course. But I mean, it's a huge group of individuals. And the cool thing about this is that this is not a clinic event. This is a community event. Yes, we are the ones that ultimately put this together.
Sure.
But the exciting thing is that all of us from the industry get to come together. I mean, I think, one thing that I've always heard from Weed Maps is these guys say, honestly, Ryan, by far best cannabis event I've ever been to because it's fun. For once, we're doing a good thing, but it's a good time for everyone too.
Oh, absolutely. It really is. And it's one of the events that I mean, since I've been there for the last 2 years now, I've looked forward to every year since. And I'm bummed that I'm not going to be there for this year. I really am. It's one of the things I'm really bummed about for the summer. But I know
good pictures. So.
Exactly. And I'll send some people that have good pictures. It's kind of funny. Now that I'm not able to do as many things, my staff gets to have more fun than I do. So I'll say, they'll be there to cover the event. And anybody out there who wants to kind of get a feel for the clinic golf tournament, they can go to cannabistube.net. And go to THC TV, THC-TV. That's our channel on Cannabis Tube, and they can see our coverage of the clinic event from last year, which was a blast. I had the worst dope over because Bongathon was the night before, but you guys did change that this year,
yes,
so you can kind of enjoy both.
We made sure that we did not do that.
I was a big jerk to you about that. I was like, dude, you got to make these 2 separate weekends, and you did, and now I'm not able to make to either one of them. But no, it was a really cool event. It's so much fun. Everybody has a blast there, and I think everybody has a good time and feels feels good about it at the same time because they know that they're there for a good cause.
For sure. Well, and everybody also, I mean, Cloud Pens, for example, is donating a pen to every single golfer. And, I mean, the kinds of, the gift bags end up being for the $130 entry fee that each golfer pays, which is drinks, food, the golfing carts, all sorts of stuff. You get a gift bag that's actually probably valued around $250 to $300 a bag. So it's, I say that because I'm trying to dangle the carrot so that you come and play with us next year. So,
exactly. Let's make it a full weekend next year.
There you go. We want this to keep getting bigger and bigger, and we really want people to have a fun time with it. And
well, we need to take it national sometime soon, right? It's like you have the Colorado winners. And you'd have everybody gonna,
I could see it getting bigger and bigger, and I can see us,
PGA.
I love that. Some of the new states too that are coming online have some beautiful golf courses.
They
We might be able to really pull this off. So.
Yeah. Is there a connection between cannabis and golf?
Yeah, I don't know if you recently saw. We were just in Golf Digest.
Were you guys? I didn't see that. That's awesome.
Golf Digest came out and did. In fact, they're doing a story on the golf tournament, and so. We played at City Park together, and they talked all about cannabis and the relationship to golf and how alcohol has a relationship, and now what other golfers are
they drug testing golfers for cannabis?
I'm sure, man.
That's interesting. Well, the NFL's talking about lightening it up.
And they should.
And PGA, I would think, come on, man, it's not like it's going to be enhancing anything.
I mean, John Daly's been doing it forever.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. You take one look at that guy, you're like, yeah, he's totally. He's smoking. I know, that's funny.
But as I told them, I mean, hey, it helps you calm your nerves, and golf is a frustrating game, so it
does. It makes it easier. It does make it a little easier to get through a bad golf game.
Everyone should get their pens and come out to the course.
Right on. Well, I have to thank you guys for coming in. First of all, it's been an awesome show, man. It's great to hear about Israel and, of course, what you guys have been up to. Congratulations on your wins at the High Times Cup, of course. I love what you guys do with the golf tournament. Great job on getting it sold out so fast. I mean, like I said, everybody out there should be really jealous that they're not at this tournament because it is a blast. I have to thank our sponsors, Incredibles, with their amazing gummies. And, of course, I love all of the Incredibles chocolates. My personal favorite, Peanut Butter Buddha Bar, is awesome, which is, I guess, your favorite as well. Anything new and exciting before we close that the clinic you guys want to talk about for the clinic?
Well, I will at least say that we've just launched a new genetics line that is called The Bank, and so hopefully our patients can get out there and pick some of those up. The Bank, our first release is our GGB, so our Grape Godbud release, and all of the crosses that we've done with that. So. It's a super reliant strain. I definitely encourage everybody to check those out. But along with that branding, hopefully individuals have started to see the Labs products out on shelves throughout Colorado. So
I love your branding, by the way. You're the clinic, then you have the lab, the bank. It's great. It's smart.
But the lab is our concentrate division, and as they won the cup this year, we've now definitely started doing a lot of processing services for other companies. So if you're unhappy with the products that are at your dispensary, push them to get in touch with the lab and come check out some of our products. But we also just got a new release of the Reserva
Privada.
Sorry, I got all these names in my head.
I know, right?
Reserva Privada, Colorado, are another genetics line that has a new release that we just dropped there on 420 as well. So,
and one of your Reserva Privada products won in our championship, not from you guys, but from
the Citrix.
The Citrix from Physician Preferred Products.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So really exciting, I mean, it's cool to see some of our products make it.
Even when you don't win, you guys win. I think it's amazing.
But yeah. So and and there's a company, rec64.com. It's a website that's doing they're selling all of our apparel, and I mean they sell a lot of other industry related stuff, but
Sure.
But all of our apparel's on there. So we've always had a lot of people asking us, how do I get your shirt back east, or how do I get it? If you want to send them to your friends, rec64.com.
All right, we'll talk because we're going to be creating our e-commerce site soon.
Oh, are you?
Hey,
I'll be happy
business
to have
being done on the radio right now as we speak.
But I'll also say, thanks for you guys being involved in the tournament, everything too. It's great that we have so many friends here in Colorado that support these kinds of events, and so
No, we're proud to be a part of it. I wish we could
that's
actually
really cool.
do even more, but we'll
we
get
wish
there.
you'd have you there, but
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. But how can people find out more about you guys at the Clinic Colorado?
thecliniccolorado.com.
Thecliniccolorado.com.
On Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Right on. Well, cool. Thanks again, Ryan and Adam, for joining us today. And to all our listeners out there, check out thecliniccolorado.com. If you are a golfer, you got to mark on your calendar for 420 to sign up to be part of the next Clinic Golf Tournament, because it will probably go in a week next year, because it just keeps getting faster and faster, selling out. No matter how much you expand it,
Yeah.
you guys sell out faster and faster. And any businesses out there, can they still be sponsors if they want?
I'm totally sold out this
Totally
year.
sold out on
if
sponsorship.
you have things that you want to put into our gift bags,
There you go.
you could definitely do that. So,
Right on.
yeah.
Yeah, so any of you guys who are a little Johnny-come-latelys, at least give them something to throw in the gift bags, and then you can take more part in the Clinic Colorado next year in sponsorship, because they're never going to say no to sponsorship.
It's all for a good cause.
It's all for a good
so-
cause. Right on. Well, thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on. Can't wait to hear the wrap up of the golf tournament. Maybe we'll have you back on in August after it's all said and done.
Love to.
So until next time, peace, love, and hempiness.